Good evening. Thank you, Star. Um,
Sorry.
I switched from OBS to using this Restream, so trying it out a little bit different this evening. So I was playing around with it. I'm like, oh, I can download my welcome from my OBS on here. So I thought that was really cool.
Hi, Star. See, it didn't download on YouTube till you were almost finished. It had played for a while before it ever downloaded,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then it downloaded on my TV, and then the volume went down on it, and then it downloads to my phone, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, yeah, it gives it a chance for everything to get loaded up and everything. So we'll just take a minute or two and say hello and see if anybody else joins us.
Yeah, there's a
Um,
delay. She said, yeah, see, you were
yeah,
playing that music for a while before
yeah,
it even dropped.
yeah, yeah. So, um, but so far this is a pretty good setup. So how are you tonight, Star?
Nice music. Look at those emojis she put on there.
I like that. That's so cool. So it was so hot here today. Oh my gosh, I was just felt like I was sweating all day long, and now it's kind of overcast. I don't know if it's gonna rain tonight or not, but yeah, about a 15-second delay start. I think that's correct. I know you can change those settings, I think, to shorten that lag, but I'm not quite sure
What's
how
funny,
to do that.
it dropped on my TV first and then on my phone.
Yeah. Yeah, they won't play together at the same time.
Oh, it's knocked the drill off. Oh
So
well.
you were pretty hot today too, Star? You're a whole lot warmer than we are here, I know. And my son took off today to go to Des Moines, Iowa, to go see his girlfriend, and he's not used to the humidity, and he's to his hotel room and everything, and he called me and he said, "Oh my gosh, it is so hot and humid here," because he's not used to that humidity because we're dry here, definitely on the dry side.
I don't know. I hope I can make it without the AC on. I may have to turn it on.
Yeah, Star, I'm looking. I know you can set like on OBS the lag. There's a lag setting to try and shorten that, but I'm not technical at all, so I haven't quite figured that all out yet myself. But so I'm kind of just learning as I go. Aren't we all, Regina?
Yes, you do good.
Yeah, you're dry climate also, Star, where you're at.
Hi, Echo.
Hi, Echo. How are you?
It's good to see you.
Most definitely. Glad you joined us. We were just getting our hellos in and getting comfortable um, and getting ready to kind of settle in and talk about this book. So, did anybody happen to read the book? Did Star or Echo? Did you read by chance, or just here to listen? So everybody seems to be doing good. So just kind of start off, The Girl in the Hills is by author AJ Rivers, which is one of mine and Regina's favorite authors. We've read a lot of her books. They're typically all in different series with different characters, and but AJ Rivers, she is definitely one of our my favorite authors. What do you think about her as an author, Regina?
Well, since I just read another book almost, I guess I like her pretty well.
Yes, yes, I like her writing style. I think she does a really good job. And I like the characters that,
But we are going to switch authors.
yes, yes. So for next month, we're going to try a different author. Kicked around the idea of maybe doing book one on another one of AJ Rivers' series. But we thought we would go ahead and try maybe a different author and see if we find somebody else new to read. So we love mystery books too, Echo. Just love reading, and that kind of bonded me and Regina together because we both love to read, and so we're always talking about books. So we just thought, well, heck, let's talk about them online. See if anybody wants to read with us. So anyways, let's get back to the book, The Girl in the Hills by A.J. Rivers. So this is, I really enjoyed this book. Like I said, I liked her characters. One of the main characters is Sarah Cross, and she's an FBI agent from New York. And she got reassigned to this little town, I think it's called Silver Falls in Tennessee, because Silver Hills, and she was on an investigation that went bad, and her partner got killed. Her CI that she was using, he kind of like double crossed her. He set her up, and in the process of this, so after all this big internal investigation with the FBI, she got reassigned kind of as a punishment into this little tiny office in this little tiny podunk town in Tennessee. And so
very, very podunk.
tiny little podunk town. And my first impression of her is she's not happy because she's, from New York. She doesn't care for this small town or the people at all. So she's got a little bit, to me, of a chip on her shoulder. What were your first impressions of Sarah in the book, Regina?
Well, I think she was a little shell shocked of the town.
Yes.
But her office sounds like a dump.
Yes, it's a definite, what show. Yes.
It's up above a bakery, and she can't even get the door unlocked.
Yes. And she doesn't want to unpack. She doesn't want to do anything because she just wants to be there short term. She's not looking for friends, and she's going to do everything by the book. Everything is going to go by protocol, and she just wants out of this, and she wants her old life back, for sure.
Right.
And yeah, in the office, oh my gosh, she opens the door to the office, and there's cobwebs and old coffee cups. I mean, the office is like a broom closet, and it's just a shambles in there, and it's just absolutely filthy, to say the least, in this little office.
They didn't have any agency people in that town for a long time.
Yeah, no, yeah, nobody'd been in the office. There's old case files are stacked up. Everything's a mess and dirty. And she even said there was spiders crawling around. It was just nasty in there. So, and she had stopped by there before she even went to her home, because she's definitely a personality that has to have things very organized and put together. So that's kind of where we start off with her in the book, is trying to get this office cleaned up. And like I said, she's just hating life in this small town, and she's convinced everybody's just staring at her, that everybody knows why she's there. It's just the whole small town gossip area. Which small towns are like that. Everybody knows everybody's comings and goings and all of that good stuff. Um, so she's got to go get some cleaning supplies, and and she's like trying to GPS on her phone the grocery store, and this is like a one horse town. The grocery store is like three doors down, and it's your typical combo hardware store, grocery store, feed store. You know, your typical small country town grocery store is the feel of it that I got.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've been in a few stores like that too,
I mean,
Regina.
if you can just picture, I mean, the town that I lived in, 90 miles from El Paso, that was about like this town, probably.
Yes, yes, just a small hometown town grocery store.
It was 90
So,
miles be east of El Paso.
oh wow, yeah, yeah. So she makes her way into this grocery store, and she's just like still like almost like rolling her eyes. She's just so out of place in this little town, especially with her Boston accent. And that's where we get to meet the sheriff, and he goes by TK, uh, is what everybody in town calls him. So, what were your first impressions of us getting to meet TK in the grocery store?
Well, he was very informative because she met him in the grocery store.
Yes,
And he just, of course, everybody spots her as a newbie.
yes, she stands out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, and I don't even know what he was doing in there. I never did realize what he was doing in there. And he's kind of mocking her, or what do you call it?
Yes,
You
yes,
know,
teasing or mocking her.
yeah,
I
but she asked for a, some people call it a buggy. I call it a cart,
yes,
shopping cart.
yes,
And I guess, I'm not sure that that store had any. So, and everything she went to grab to clean with, he would tell her that some woman in town would frown on that one.
yes. Oh, you don't want to use that one. The church uses this one, or you don't want to use that one because Mrs. So and so says this is the better cleaner, and you need the good stuff. But he doesn't disclose to her who he is. So here's this, I would say, this tall, cool drink of water cowboy comes sauntering in this grocery store, and he's leaning on the bar, on the on the counter there, and just starts telling her not so much what to do, but basically he knows who
But he
she is.
followed
She
her
doesn't know
around
who he is.
while she was picking stuff out.
Yes, he was following her, following her around, and then this guy. He's kind of just like this good-looking cowboy, but she doesn't know he's the sheriff until the storekeep comes out and calls him, "Hey, sheriff, what are you doing?" And then she just gets lit by him. She gets so mad because he knew who she was, but she didn't know who he was, and he was enjoying the fact that she didn't know.
Yeah.
So their relationship together did not start off well from the beginning, because they are two totally different people. Hi, Snuggies, how are you? Glad you're here.
Hi, Snuggies.
So, but yeah, so she gets pretty ticked at him, that he doesn't tell her who he is, and she pretty much says, "Well, you know exactly who I am. How come I don't know who you are?" And so there's just kind of this tension right from the get go. Um, So after she gets done with that meeting, she's got to head back to her little um, cobweb infested little tiny closet office and get to cleaning. So she feels like she has some semblance of order before she starts her new day, because she's gonna come out and she's gonna be the boss for sure. One thing that TK does, and like throughout the book, is, and I don't know why, but he's always eating butterscotch candies. It's like, what the heck is up with the butterscotch candies?
It's like it was a nervous um, habit.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
he like maybe he was a smoker or something, but it didn't say that he was. 'Cause
yeah. It didn't hint to anything like that, but he has this pocket full of butterscotch candies, and he's always, when he's thinking or intrigued about something or trying to work something out, he's always eating butterscotch candies, which is just a weird, it's just a weird twist. But I guess he could be doing other things that are worse.
it sounded like you could smell the butterscotch before he even walked into the room.
Yes, and I think that ignored it, um, annoyed her as well, because she said she could smell his cologne, which was woodsy, and then this sweet smell of butterscotch all the time. And she just, she's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm stuck here with this podunk sheriff who doesn't know, anything from anything, and I don't even want to be around this guy, because I'm from New York City. I'm an FBI agent, and I'm above all of this, and now I'm stuck here in this hole in the wall town with a goofball sheriff who eats butterscotches." And TK also has a dog named Duke. He's a older dog. He's an old time dog, and that was his father's. And
I think he was a drug dog.
yes, yes, I think so too. But and when I first kind of got that impression about the dog, I thought, okay, he's gonna whip, this old timer dog's gonna whip into action, and he's gonna sniff some stuff out. But that didn't happen. I was like, well, okay, I'm okay with that.
Only one scene, if I remember right.
Yes, yeah. So so they get their first meet introduction, doesn't quite go well, and um, they Sarah, the FBI agent, she heads back to do her cleaning, and Sheriff TK, he heads home. Well, the first incident that happens in the book is TK gets a call for a break-in, and come to find out, this is like the third break-in that they've had in their community, and it's very strange, because there's each of these places, these three places, have like extensive security systems. And so who's ever doing these break-ins can get through this security system without being seen. And they can clear the cameras, they can reset the alarms. And so it's just such a strange thing for in this small town. And they're just taking very specific things. They're taking jewelry and electronics. Um, and the three break-ins, one was a lawyer, one was a commercial real estate agent that does real estate for commercial buildings, and then the other one was an accountant. And so none of them really, they couldn't find any connection to these people as to why they were being selected. And then in this small town where technology really isn't a big thing, how are these burglars getting around this one specific, they all have the same security system. So, and they're able to bypass the security system and get in these homes while the residents are out of the house.
But and the first, was it the first one or the second one is when they found the dead body?
So that is the next call. Um, but a little bit before that, the mayor in this town, he is, what is his name?
Patterson.
Mayor Patterson. He's like on TK because they're having their big, in like 4 weeks, their big annual festival.
Which
And
is a cornbread festival.
the cornbread festival, right? For a small town in Tennessee, they're having a cornbread festival. And and he he's very concerned about these break-ins because he doesn't want vendors pulling out of the festival, and they got so much money riding on this. I think it's a big anniversary of this festival, and they pull in a lot of income. So he's kind of really on TK for finding out who's doing this break-ins because he doesn't want anything bad to happen that's going to cancel this festival. Okay, Snuggies, we'll see you back in a bit. So you've got the mayor kind of breathing down his neck. You're really pushing him to find out what is going on. But because of all of this technical stuff, which they're not really accustomed to, he, through some of his friends kind of recommending it, they push him to say, hey, you need to go talk to this new FBI agent Cross and to get some help with this because this is kind of beyond us. And so you're just basically going to have to suck it up and get along with this lady and go ask her for help. So that's kind of where we're at now with TK. So we jump back to Sarah after she gets her office all cleaned up and she meets her new personnel.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. The first one is her FBI specialist that's in cyber crimes. And this girl is like right out of Quantico. I mean, she is just fresh out of training.
Michelle.
And yes, Michelle. And she's bubbly and excited. And she's kind of mean to her. She just shuts her down and like takes the wind right out of her sails. She just like cuts her off at the knees.
Very overzealous.
Yes, Michelle is because she's excited. It's her first field job, and she's got all these hopes and everything. And Sarah just says, "Yeah, don't waste your time," and she just kind of shuts her down. It's just pretty mean to her, actually, the way she talks to her and stuff. That'd be tough on your first day on the job to have your new boss basically blow you off type of thing. And then this character just cracks me up. I love this character, Linda Ross. She is an older woman who she's like no nonsense, and she just tells it like it is to Sarah. And she's like, I'm the one who runs this office. And she walks around with a cigarette. And she'll have it behind her ear or she'll put it in her mouth. But she told, and Sarah's no nonsense by the book saying, you can't smoke in here. This is protocol. This is FBI procedure. There is no smoking in this building. And she's like, I haven't smoked in however long since she quit. But she
and you can tell by her voice that it was a smoker.
Yeah, this gravelly, old, ratchety woman who answers the phone and stuff and walks around with her cigarette. I thought, okay, well, that balances it out. Sarah's kind of going to meet her match with this woman who's been in the FBI for many, 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 many years, more closer to retirement than she is starting out. So she's a pretty interesting character, very old school. I liked her right off the bat. So as they're in the office there, TK comes in and she's just like, oh my gosh, what does this sheriff want from me now? Well, he's there to ask her for help. And she basically just blows him off. She don't want nothing to do with him. Is that what you thought, Regina?
Yeah, she didn't help to that one of those other break-ins happened, and
Yeah.
he called her the next morning real early.
Yeah. She's like, this is a local issue. Don't waste my time. I don't have time for this. I'm trying to set up this office. And just, it's not my problem because she doesn't want nothing to do with her. Um, which, she's like, I just don't have time for your small town nonsense type of stuff. But anyway, so she tries to blow him off and says he needs to put in a request, which he did. And to her dismay, she gets a phone call from her boss and says, "Hey, we just received this request for your assistance, and I don't care what you think, you're going to help this local sheriff because you need to fit in. You need to get to know people and be the face of the FBI here. So, I don't care if you think it's useless use of your time. You're going to do this," and hangs up on her. So now she's even more mad at TK because now she has to help him with this investigation.
Hi, Miss Bell.
Hi, Miss Bell. How are you?
Well, talking about food, Miss Bell, well, the first thing she took up to the office was she's above a bakery. So I think they were eating sticky buns.
Yes, yes. The bakery owner is trying to be friends with her. And Sarah just keeps kind of pushing her way, like, I don't have time for this. And she's bringing her coffee and, trying to make her feel welcome or kind of maybe make a little bit of a friendship. But Sarah's pretty resistant to that at the moment. Um, but bringing in her coffee and some goodies to eat. So we are to where,
Jim.
yes. So in the meantime, TK gets another phone call that there is another break-in. And so we'll have Regina, why don't you take it from there and tell us about this fourth break-in?
Oh, goodness. Wow. So all these homes are probably well-to-do homes because they have security systems, and all the security systems are cut off. The only way that you can tell anybody's been in the house is like break in the door, like cracking of the door,
Yes.
and they're not stealing hardly anything, like Laurie said. Hi, Sarah. And this house, unfortunately, was a friend of the sheriff's, TK. They all lived in this town together all their life. And when they went into this home, this man, I don't remember his last name, but his first name's Jim. And
Bennett.
he was dead. And the wife wasn't home, and they found him there. And then they found the safe open. Well, inside the safe, they found drugs, which on this bag of drugs is a stamp symbol like what Sarah had in, where is she from? New York?
From New York, yes. It's a dragon. It's a stamp of a dragon.
Hi,
That-
Tia.
Hi, Tita.
So this drug has already harmed some kids. So now they're going to start looking into the high school kids to see who's distributing it, the drugs, or how
Yeah.
they are getting these drugs in this small town.
Yes.
So Sarah is freaking out, not literally, but figure of speech, because the symbol on that baggie is one that she dealt with in New York.
Yes. the drug dealer that she was investigating that shot her partner, the CI that got her partner killed, is the same distributor for this particular drug. And so she's like, oh my gosh, I either accidentally ended up here, or this case has following me here. And because this case went so bad in New York, that's why she kind of got, in her mind, banished to this small town, because her investigation went sideways and her partner had gotten killed in New York, and was one of the reasons why they had sent her to this small Tennessee town.
Plus,
But
plus they didn't want her to investigate this man named Richard DeLuca,
yes.
and he was like a real well-off man,
Hmm.
and so they didn't want her to be near him in any way. So that's kind of why they shipped her off to this little small town.
Yes, yes. Um, but back up it just a little bit. Jim Bennett, like Regina had said, is this longtime friend of Sheriff of TK's. They played football together. They went to school together. They're just kind of like best buds. And so he gets there, and the wife actually had come home, and she caught the tail end of this break-in and then found out that he had been murdered. So TK is just beside himself. And then, like Regina said, they found drugs in his safe. He had drugs in his system. And he's like, this can't be, because I've known this man my whole life. We've grown up together. He's one of my best friends. And there's just absolutely no way he could be taking or dealing drugs, even though the evidence is there saying he has.
And he's
And
accounting, right? Accounting.
he was an accountant, yes. And
So they think he was looking into the festival's money because they found out through Michelle that there was a, how do you say it?
a discrepancy.
Yes, thank you. Of money of the festival.
Yes. Yes. Because Sarah's like ticking off all this stuff. She's just hardcore. And TK is, I know these people, and you got to take it slow, and you just can't be accusing people. And he's really emotionally involved with the town and all the people, because he's spent his whole life there. And so much that Sarah contacts her boss and tells his boss that she doesn't feel that TK is capable, because he's too emotionally involved with the people in this town, that he's biased in his investigation, which he does find out about, that she did that. And then they really get into it after that, because she basically called up her bosses and said he could do his job. And he'd been the sheriff there, and and he's always has a deep feeling that he's got to care for everybody in this town. And so they definitely go about, their approaches are very different on how they investigate too. So but yes, so they start pulling in the fact that these festival finances, and the mayor had actually called TK, or had spoke to him, and which he thought was so strange, because he's like, well, you know our finances with the festival, and you're my good friend. I grew up with you. We all played football together, and can you just be discreet with this, and you really don't need to investigate these finances for the festival and everything, because it doesn't have anything really to do with it. And which was very strange for TK to have the mayor throw a friend card for him to tread lightly with these finances. And that's kind of what Sarah figures out. There's got to be a connection with these finances, and how do they tie into the other three break-ins,
Yeah.
the lawyer, the accountant, and the real estate
Plus, they
agent.
need to find out where the drugs were coming in.
Yes.
There was already some students that had died from them. So then they start to research into the high school.
Yes. Yes. There was three kids that had died from the overdose from this drug, um, due to these overdoses. So Sarah kind of feels that there's like two separate cases. Like there's the break-ins, and then there's the deal with these kids, that they're not together
Well, they didn't realize they were kids till later.
till later on.
But
Where
they were okay. Let me back up. Didn't mean to interrupt.
no, you're good.
The only reason why the kids are in the picture now is because of the drugs and the students that died. They do still, at this time, they still do not know who was doing the break-ins.
Yes. Yes. But TK feels there is a connection between all of them, especially since they found the drugs in his friend Jim's safe. It was one of the reasons why he got so upset, because Sarah was labeling him a drug dealer. And he's like, you can't do that. He's not a drug dealer. You're just, you've got to step back and treat these people with respect. And you can't be going and accusing people in town of these things when you don't know the people in this town, even though Sarah is trying to do her job the way she's supposed to do it. But Jim Bennett also owned the grocery store, the general store. He was also the owner of the general store. So that leads him with this trail of financials. They end up going to his store, and they get a search warrant to look at his financials, the festival financials only. And that's where TK kind of has to come to the realization that maybe he didn't know his friend as well as he did, because they were finding some really big discrepancies with money being shifted around, in account balances not being correct. And TK, according to TK, Jim was very anal with record keeping. Like, he would not make mistakes like that. But the numbers just weren't adding up.
So Duke put up kind of a off scene type thing and tell the story about the neighbor, Sarah's neighbor.
Oh, Sarah's neighbor. Yeah, they had gotten a report that Jim was having an argument with her neighbor, Angus.
Okay. But
Well,
yeah. What happened was she moved into this little cottage next door to this elderly man. I started to say something else, but I didn't. And
you mean the crotchety old grumpy man that lived next door with his one-eyed cat? That's watching everybody's business from the front porch.
But what brought them together was she got his newspaper, and I guess he was just right there all of a sudden. And he said, "That's my paper."
Yes. Do you mind? That's not yours. That's mine. She's like, "Oh, okay, here you go."
So that starts their sketchy friendship.
Yes. Yes. And then they find out that this Jim Bennett had been in an argument with Angus, and Angus is the grumpy, crotchety old man with the one-eyed cat that sits on his porch and watches everybody's business.
Yeah, he's a nosy old man.
Yes, very nosy. And it comes to find out that their argument was over that Jim had accused him of stealing money from the Veterans Association, which he did not do. And so that's what their argument was about. And then that leads them on to, hearing about the kids behind the store doing drugs, and then in turn, which leads them to the high school to talk to the high school coach to kind of find out if he's aware of what's going on, because these kids, one of the kids found drugs in the gym locker. These three families, Robbie, Elijah, and Tyler, are kind of these town kids who um, were found with these drugs. And you got one that's a deacon's son, one is the preacher's son, and I don't remember who Tyler is, if he's just one of the kids or he's the deacon's son, in this town that are all like prominent people in town, and good kids. And he's like, TK's problem is, he's like, I coached most of these kids in little leagues, and now here they are doing this designer drug, and we've really got to find out who brought these drugs in and who's distributing them into the. They were, Miss Bell, they're high school age kids, so they are probably 16, 17 years old, around that age group. It doesn't specifically give their age, but they're teenagers because they are in high school.
High school.
Yes. Yes. Um,
So then they start investigating each high school boys, that all of a sudden their personalities changed.
yes.
And so
Yes.
they are investigating their families to see how they would be related to the drugs.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And then throughout their investigation, there is a homeless man that lives in town, and his name is Vic Stower, I believe. And he lives in this old paper mill, I think is what it is. He kind of lives and camps out, and he helps a lot out in the community. He helps the elderly, shovel snow and clear sidewalks and stuff like that. And they end up going and talking to him, which at that time he lets them know. They both interviewed him separately, which caused some more tension between Sarah and TK. But she, they find out that there's been some strange things also going on at this paper mill as well, along with the kids having these drugs.
And the families that have these three young men that are having problems at school, not at the school, but they could tell there was a change in their personalities.
Mm-hmm.
They have been staying home, and then eventually they're going to start telling what they know.
Yes, yes, because they have a rapport with TK, and they kind of start opening up to him and giving him a little bit more information. But one of the things that they did find out when they went back and spoke with Jim's wife, Heidi, when they revisited the crime scene to try and figure out more of what happened, they found out accidentally, through one of the ladies in town, TK did, that Heidi had lied. She said that she came home early from her book club, and one of the ladies, without even knowing anything,
Love.
yeah, one of the ladies in town says she wasn't at book club. She hasn't been coming to book club. She goes, so she wasn't there, and then she lied again and said that she just took a drive and to clear her thoughts and everything. Well, comes to find out, she was having an affair with the bar owner or the bartender in town. So that's why she was lying about where she was at. Yeah. Oh dear is right, Star. She got caught big time because the ladies in town told on her.
She wasn't going to book club, guys.
She was not going to book club. No, 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 no.
Her
She
husband
was,
thought she was at book club, but she
yes,
was not going to
yes,
book club.
yes. So TK and Sarah, there's definitely still button heads on how to get things done and who's the lead investigator. And they end up going and doing a stakeout at this paper mill
Oh
to
wow.
kind of watch what's going on. And so they're out there all night and they get to talking. And I think they both kind of, um, I think TK gets a better insight because she kind of opens up to him about some of
Well,
the things from New
the
York.
homeless guy did not show up. They were there to meet him,
Yes.
and he did not show up.
Yes. So they stayed there at the lookout and watched, thinking that somebody might come in to do a drug drop, um, which that didn't happen. Reading
Right.
the book. So, oh, Miss Bell, are you reading the book?
No, she's talking about somebody else.
Oh, she might be reading a book. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha.
So they kind of, in this stakeout, kind of between all this investigation they were doing, they kind of, sort of maybe like each other, but not, nah, not too sure,
Yeah,
And
yeah. They're kind
they,
of learning a little bit more like, oh, he took on this job. TK, shattered his knee in high school. He could have been a possible NFL football player. And then took on the role after his dad through the sheriff. And then he is really just kind of this really nice guy and he learns that yes, she's very organized and yes, she's very driven, but these things that happened to her in this previous case in New York is kind of why she's so standoffish and guarded and basically kind of short and rude with people. She doesn't come across very good in the beginning because she's just kind of cold.
not
She's
a,
cold to people.
she's not a small town people person.
No, no, she's a big city girl and everything. So they do start coming to um, an understanding with one another. So
And so how did what was the deal with them stargazing? And then later on, there was a message to her or him.
yes. So at this stakeout, when they went back to the truck to leave, it was a beautiful night. And anybody that's ever been out in the country, the stars are just amazing. So she's standing there and they're looking at the stars and everything. And later on, they had gotten some phone calls with a altered voice. And then I believe they also received some photographs. So whoever did this murder is watching them because one of the photographs was of Sarah and TK standing at the truck stargazing. So they are being watched by somebody that they don't have a clue. And that's kind of when she starts to confess about this DeLuca character in New York and what happened in New York. And he's this big time drug dealer person who's killed multiple people. And this dragon, this particular drug is his drug. And then trying to figure out how that is all linked together with the break-ins and the murder of his friend Jim. And then which after talking with the mayor, they go to talk to and that's kind of when TK's telling her his thoughts about the mayor and how strange it is. They go back to interview the mayor and you can tell he's just fidgeting and fumbling around and he's got some kind of secret that he's not telling them. Yes, Miss Bell. It's in Tennessee. The name of I don't know if it's a real town, but the name of the town is Silver Hills, Tennessee. I believe that is the name of this small country community.
Lori, are you going all the way to tell the reveal?
Yeah, we'll just go through like we normally do.
Okay.
So if you want to kick her back up there, we just got done talking with
Well,
the mayor.
I didn't know when you wanted to hit how far.
Well, what happens is they start interviewing these kids, and more information and stuff comes out about these teenagers that got caught with the drugs. And there's actually a connection between all of them and the three kids that had already died from previous drug overdoses.
Okay, the three boys they've been talking to in their homes.
Yeah.
I don't remember which one, but one of them started breaking down, and he
Yeah.
showed that they needed to talk to Josh and Zachary.
Yes.
Well, they started talking to Josh.
Yes.
So he started telling it all.
Yes. So the voice on the phone, the photographs, the break-ins, and everything, um, in a twist, which you did not see coming till towards the end of the book, was that these kids did not feel that adults and the sheriff and everybody was listening to them, and that there was these three drug overdoses, but nobody was investigating, nobody was looking into it, and nobody cared. So they had staged all of these break-ins to draw attention to these kids dying, their friends dying. And then which one of them killed Jim?
Well, Josh was talking, doing all the talking, and Zachary was fixing to do something real big at a baseball game.
Yes. Yes.
So Josh finally told it all, but
Yes.
he did not know what this young man was going to do, his friend.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, well, they find out after the stopping of the thing at the baseball field.
Yeah, because what they thought was that he was going to create an explosion, that he had a bomb. And so they were scrambling to get to the home game, to be able to find him and stop them. But I think what it was, though, he was doing some type of, it was an explosive device thing, but it was to release papers or information or something telling all of these events. And unfortunately, naming Jim Bennett, the one that he killed, was
Well,
involved.
He was naming a lot of people in the
Yes.
town.
In the town, all of
Yeah.
these financial people, and
But-
they targeted the lawyer, the real estate, and the accountant and Jim because they were all involved in it.
And they still haven't been able to bring this Richard guy back into the picture because a fake Richard guy says, "Well, I hear that you're wanting to talk to me." Well,
Yes.
Sarah knew right away that the hype and everything about this guy that came to talk to her was not this Richard guy.
Yes. Yeah. They find out that in investigating the paper mill, that a sister company, they trailed all these different company names that led back to this DeLuca that was from New York. That is this big time drug dealer out of New York. His name is all over it. And then some guy shows up there saying, "Well, I'm DeLuca," and she's looking at him like, "No, you're not." And TK there for a short time doesn't believe you. That's just somebody else with the same name. You're just wishing something to make a connection, and you just think you have something and you don't. um, uh, at the time because he thinks she's just
Well,
grasping at straws.
yeah, she tells him that that wasn't him.
Yes. Yeah. But he initially doesn't believe her at
Oh,
all.
TK.
Yeah. Yeah. He doesn't believe her. Um, and so they finally make it to festival, and festival was kind of nice because they do kind of make a bond at that time. You can see some sparks kind of starting to, um, a connection there between two of them, and they're laying out there watching fireworks and having a good old time, and kind of connecting more on of a personal level instead of um, a work a work relationship, which was kind of nice. I thought that was well done. How it just slowly comes to fruition. You know, it
Yeah.
was good.
And then after that, the festival, then the baseball thing comes up.
Miss Bell says, "I wonder if they used drones." I don't think there was a mention of drones in the book. Um,
Well, it's what I mean. What's going to happen at the baseball field?
at the baseball field, yeah, some type of pyrotechnics or something, but they had to get the bomb squad in there to defuse it, and they did catch him in the act, and he did confess to all of that, with the robberies and trying to get them in their minds. They were trying to make people see.
Zachary.
Yes,
Zachary was going to blow up a bunch of papers
yes,
into the outfield and into the stadium,
yes,
so that all people that were guilty in that town for the deaths of the other three teenagers, then they would be accountable.
yes,
And so they caught him in time that it did not go off, but
yes,
he did finally confess and he killed Jim.
yes, yes. He did confess to
So,
killing him with a golf club.
yeah, and here you are all this time thinking, okay, all the break ins are adults. The killing happened with from a adult. We were thinking this Richard group of people from New York were coming in and causing problems, and they killed Richard. I mean Jim, but come to find out, Zachary did.
It was
Right?
the kids. Yeah, it like through the whole thing, you're like, okay, it's got to be this DeLuca guy. He's spreading out through the territories. He's moved down south out of New York, setting up a drug distribution center. Somehow, this Jim is involved. And it's with these break-ins. Maybe they're trying to cover their trail or whatever it may be. The DeLuca and his distribution companies was one of the vendors for the festival. So they didn't know if they were trying to like cover up their tracks and everything. And that's why Jim had gotten killed. But it was like, oh my gosh, just right out of left field, it was these kids. But to wrap it up, they go back, after the festival, they go back to that paper mill and they're watching it. And DeLuca, the real DeLuca, shows up at the paper mill, and the mayor is there with him. So that was kind of like, oh my gosh, right at the end of the book. So the mayor is definitely involved with the whole deal as well. Do you have anything to add to that?
Sorry, I had to mute.
Oh yeah, no problem. Did you have it like at the end where they went back to the paper mill and she IDs DeLuca there with the mayor
Yes, at the end of the story.
at the
Yeah.
end of the story?
And then they leave you hanging.
And then they leave you hanging. I know, just leaves you right on a cliffhanger. So definitely going to have to read book 2 of this series.
But the characters were the next door neighbor
Yes,
and Linda and
Yeah.
Michelle. They were good into. They were good characters in the book,
Yeah.
and it made it funny. But
I I didn't
sometime or
write.
another, where did the dog come in at one time? Did he come?
He rides with TK a lot in the truck. And so
He
he'll
didn't,
get out
he
and
didn't
sniff
do
around
any.
and
He didn't do any drug revealing.
nope, nope. I thought he was. I thought, man, that dog's going to get out on the trail
I
and
thought
he's going
maybe
to,
he did something at the school, but I couldn't
yeah,
remember.
no, no, he didn't. So I thought he was going to get out there and do some sniffing and do some drug busting,
Yeah, see, they
but
were
he
having to
didn't.
go to school and talk to all the
Yeah.
kids, and the kids didn't want to talk. And
Yes. Yes.
finally, they got three of the boys at home at their different houses, and they all started talking and confessing.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I liked about TK, and it would just make me chuckle. And I didn't write any of them down, but he'd always come up with these sayings like, uh, "Oh, he's working like a rented mule." All these things like what my dad would say. Oh, we're cooking with Crisco now, but it was all these little
Country, country.
country sayings and stuff all throughout the book. He was just having like some of these classic lines, just straight up country lines, and I really like that a lot.
It's
Um,
funny that now that we've reviewed it, I keep thinking of that upstairs office
yeah.
and the dirt and it being above the bakery and the
Hmm.
smell all the time while you're working.
Yes.
Smell of the bakery always bothering you.
Yes. Um, so like I said, I thought how she described the characters or everybody can draw their own conclusion, but you got TK, this down to earth country sheriff sucking on his
So
butterscotch candies.
yeah, the mayor was into the money for the festival, but
Yes.
they did not catch him.
No, they haven't caught him yet, but they suspect that he is money laundering. Somehow he got involved with this DeLuca, and they were using the festival to laundry money
And the drugs.
and the drugs.
They brought the
Yes.
drugs into the town to see how it would do in a smaller town.
Yes. If it would be profitable. So I don't know. Like I said, I haven't read yet any of book 2 to see if it's going to go more into DeLuca and the mayor and this drug ring, or if it's going to go off in a totally different story. But by the end of this story, Sarah is starting to feel her walls are breaking down. Um, she's starting to like this small town, even though she doesn't want to. She sparked up a friendship with the grumpy, crotchety old neighbor with the one-eyed cat, and
Yeah,
they
play
they
chess with him.
they go. She sits with him at night and plays chess, and they have kind of sparked up this friendship in a place where she didn't want any friends. She was just pushing everybody away from her because she didn't even want to unpack her boxes because she didn't want to be there because she was being punished, and she only wanted to be there long enough to be able to get out and get back to New York.
Right.
So overall, I thought it was an excellent story. I thought misdirection in where you thought the story was leading. It kind of leads that way, but not really leads that way in a roundabout way, and then pulling the kids in that the kids actually did the crime that they were first out investigating before they found all out about the drugs and everything else in this little tiny podunk small town in Tennessee. A one-eyed cat's her spirit animal? It might be. It might be. But that crotchety old cat, you could just when he's sitting there on his lap, just like the cat dismissed you. You're like, okay, you can go about your way now. Oh, that is awesome. Star, you'll have to let us know if you see any mysterious lights out there in the star down there in that area where you're at.
Yes, y'all, please come back in another hour. We will be doing our whipping chat
Yes.
in an hour.
So that wraps it up for Girls in the Hills. I definitely give this 5 stars. Hi, Joan.
Hi, John.
Good to see you. We're just finishing up here. Definitely give it 5 stars. Like I said, AJ Rivers, she's one of our favorite authors. Everything that I've read of hers, I have liked. So, and what's cool about her, she also has a Facebook page, and she answers your questions and stuff on there. It's pretty cool. So, I like I said, I think she's an excellent author. For June, we are going to try out another new author. Let me see if I picked the right one. It's not that one. It's this one. All right. This is His Perfect Crime, an Emily Slate mystery thriller. By Alex.
Sigmore.
What is it?
Sigmore.
So completely new author to us. It sounds like it's going to be really good. There's actually like 15 books in this series. And this is book 1 with Emily Slate. I didn't gather really any information on it. Let me see if I can get a little snippet here of what this book is about. Okay, so again, it's with the FBI. So FBI Special Agent Emily Slate is no stranger to tragedy after losing her husband 3 months ago, then botching the biggest case of her career. She barely escapes a full suspension, but this new case in the mountain town of Stillwater might be just what she needs to redeem herself. When she arrives, a dead woman she's investigating reportedly ran off to Italy with her boyfriend months ago. If that were true, then how did she end up buried in a box with her eyes sewn shut? Oh my gosh, this is going to definitely be a thriller. This is Emily's last chance at salvaging her career, but as she begins to peel away the layers of a complex case, it becomes clear the woman's savage murder wasn't unique. She'll have to risk everything if she wants to get to the bottom of this mystery and stop the killer from claiming another victim. But what she doesn't know, in an even more sinister secret, lurks behind the murders. And in the end, Emily herself may be a target. So that is just a little on the jacket there of the book. So it sounds like an intense thriller for sure. What do you think, Regina?
Yes.
Yes. But anyway, so that book will be next month. So please keep look out. I'll drop a post and a short of His Perfect Crime, and as well as the date. So there will be plenty of time for everybody to read. So we hope you enjoyed tonight, and we will definitely see you next month for our book chat, Friday night book chat. And we thank everybody for joining us, and have a great rest of your evening. And if you want to whip, we're going to be whipping here in about an hour, about 45 minutes to an hour. We will be back on with our late night Friday night whip. So we hope to see all of you there.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.